Who's gonna chair? So there's going to be some arm wrestling. Very exciting. Well, is it 9:30?
It's
It is.
9:30.
It's 9:30. All right, Nate says I have to chair then.
Well, you are a member.
I need my gavel then. I have to make it official. Even though this is not an official meeting, I just want to do it. I feel so much better now. Okay, we're gonna go around the room and everyone will introduce themselves and let's start with that. So going to the far.
I'm Angelique Handall, the Director of Transportation at Easter Seals.
Tracy Whitehead, MTA Park. Lucy St. John, and then should be a super everyone.
Zach Sprite with the commission. Anthony Summers with the commission.
David Tilton with the commission.
Ben Herbert, Region 8 Mobility Manager.
Adam Lesney, SNHPC staff.
Nate Miller, staff.
Sylvia Von Allock. I am the executive director here and a voting member.
Brendan McDowell with City of Manchester.
All right, now, thank you. Let's go with our home viewers. Liz, start us off.
Hi, Elizabeth Robidoux, Hooksett.
Vincent,
Vincent Pagano, Regional Planner with Central New Hampshire Regional Planning Commission.
thank you. Vanessa,
Morning, Vanessa Partington, DES.
hi, Vanessa. Tammy?
Tammy Zamoyski, Regional Planner in the Commission.
Oh, that's an interesting microphone. You sound kind of like a mouse, but it's fine, it works.
I guess I'll come in the room to do my presentation then.
I think so. I think so. George
George Sarasderi.
and Cam.
Morning, Cam Perlman with the commission.
Thanks, Cam. All right. Well, obviously no quorum in the room. I think we have officially about maybe 5 of us. So,
Yeah, next year we should try to make sure that we don't, every year we seem to, the ACEC New Hampshire Technical Exchange Conference seems to happen on the third Thursday of April. And we lose most of our TAC members who in our case today, Bruce and Kristen and Mark and others who are all at that conference. So we should maybe try to avoid that schedule.
yeah, I don't. Obviously, this meeting is so much more fun, so I'm glad you all made the right choice in joining us here, although you're missing out on some great snacks today. So, why don't we go ahead and, okay, I'll move my cheat sheet so I can see the agenda. I see that Nate is going to start the entertainment with tip amendment number 5.
That's right. When we talk about entertaining content, tip amendments are top of the list. Let's see. Zoom doesn't quite give enough random pop-up bars and windows to try to navigate through. Can everybody see this in full screen online?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to try to hide this. Okay, good. All right. So we just finished tip amendment 4, last month or the month before, but no rest for us. We're right into tip amendment number 5 already. And I want to take a few minutes this morning to walk through what projects are changing in the region in tip amendment number 5. Even though normally we would ask the TAC to take action on recommending tip amendment number 5 to the MPO. We don't have a quorum today. So I guess it would be the consensus of those members present as to whether or not to recommend tip amendment number 5 to the MPO. But let's walk through what the projects are. I showed this slide every time I talk about a tip amendment, just so everybody understands, we talk about a lot of different plans and programs. This is how they all work together. And when we're talking about the TIP, TIP in this case, is the Transportation Improvement Program. That is our program of projects that will be happening over the next 4 years. And our current TIP covers fiscal year 23 to 26. Obviously, 23 is in the past, so we're pretty much focused on 24 to 26 with everything that we're going to be talking about today. These are the projects that are the closest to advancing, the closest to construction. They're actively under development, engineering work, right-of-way work. In some cases, construction work is going on with these projects. So we always work with our colleagues at New Hampshire DOT on the development of this and any TIP amendment. And of course, we did so again in this case for TIP amendment number 5. We put TIP amendment number 5 out for public comment on Monday, May 8th. We're holding a 10-day public comment period. That comment period will close tomorrow. We did include the actual document for TIP amendment number 5 in your meeting packet for this meeting, for the TAC meeting. So some of you may have already read and reviewed that and have seen the project changes from the inclusion of that document in your packet. We will hold a public hearing. Our MPO will hold a public hearing to consider adoption of amendment number 5 next Tuesday at 11:30 in this very room. That's April 23rd. What are the changes? There are not many in TIP amendment number 5 in our region, but we'll walk through them briefly. The Route 3 widening project in Bedford from Hawthorne Drive's north intersection to the airport access road, that the amendment is delaying the start of right-of-way phase work from fiscal 25 to 26, and that is based on the anticipated project schedule. There is a contract for engineering phase work that is expected to be approved by GNC in May. So engineering phase work is moving forward, but based on that timeline for when engineering phase work is going to be happening, it's anticipated that right-of-way phase work wouldn't be starting until actually fiscal 26 instead of fiscal 25. In Goffstown, there was a locally managed bridge project for a local bridge on Center Street over Harry Brook. This is going to be removed from the TIP at the request of the town of Goffstown. So the town has requested that project be canceled, and largely due to the anticipated cost of replacing that bridge and the impact that even the local match share of that project would have on their local CIP. So we are taking that out of the TIP at the request of the town of Goffstown. There's a statewide program for the maintenance and preservation of Tier 1 and 2 bridges. Tier 1 and 2 bridges are on the most significant roads in the region. These are the interstates and limited access highways and major state roads. That generally is what Tier 1 and Tier 2 is. There is an increase in construction phase funding for fiscal years 24 through 26. That is based on this is a statewide program. There are a series of what we call child projects that live under that parent program. And based on the anticipated cost of all the different child projects that will be completed under this program, additional construction phase funding is necessary. One of those large child projects is actually addressing 5 bridges in Manchester and Hooksett on I-93 northbound. And that's a significant project in and of itself. I want to say off the top of my head that project alone is about $12 million. So, and that's just one of a series of projects occurring around the state related to the maintenance and preservation of bridges on the interstate system, the limited access system under this program. Lastly is a local bridge project in Weare, River Road over the Piscataquag River. This is delaying right-of-way and construction phase work to fiscal 26 based on, again, the anticipated project schedule. DOT is working closely with the town of Weare on this project. I know that Weare earlier at the beginning of 24 during the winter put out their RFQ process for engineering phase work. I believe that is moving forward, and the start of engineering work on that project is imminent. So based on that timeline, it's likely that the right of way and construction phases for this project would be happening in 26, and this tip amendment is reflecting that schedule. That's it. Just 4 projects for us in tip amendment number 5. Pretty straightforward. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any on the project changes in tip amendment number 5. Otherwise, we would certainly welcome some level of consensus amongst the members present, both in person and online, about your support for tip amendment number 5 and encouraging our MPO to adopt it.
Madam Chairman, Sylvia, it's George and Derry. I know we can't make a motion, but can I make something just to say that we would support, the TAC would support the recommendations outlined by Nate?
Please.
I know we can't vote, but
Is there anybody opposed for some reason to tip amendment number 5? Maybe we could, does anybody have any issues with tip amendment number 5? Otherwise, maybe we could assume that everybody would be supportive of it.
All right, so I'm seeing Liz nodding. George has his thumbs up. How about Vanessa? You're also a voting member. Thumbs up. She might have stepped out.
Yes.
It's possible that I put her to sleep.
Everybody here.
Yeah.
No, no.
Thumbs up. Okay. The crew over there, I've got a thumbs up. Thank you. 3 thumbs up. Okay.
All right.
Thumbs up everywhere.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me on that.
Right, the next we've got Tammy Zamoyski, one of our fantastic regional planners, and Tammy's going to talk with us about cycling awareness.
Okay, can everybody see this in full screen online?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, as you may or may not be aware, May is National Bike Month. So here in New Hampshire, this year we've decided to promote it as New Hampshire Cycling Awareness Month, as to not get confused with Laconia Bike Week.
For the record, Tammy, fantastic pink bike. My niece would be gaga over that bike.
Thank you. I thought it was very seasonally appropriate with the flowers.
Yeah.
It's bright and cheery. I love it. So the Bike Walk Alliance of New Hampshire is hosting all of the information on Cycling Awareness Month on their website. So this is just a screenshot of their calendar. They have all of the events throughout the state on this calendar, so you can go and find something that suits your desires. There are a lot of different events going on, so I'm just going to be highlighting the ones that are happening in the SNHPC region. The first one is taking place on Thursday, May 2nd. Manchester hosts the largest taco tour in America, and the Queen City Bike Collective for the past year, they've been promoting free valet bicycle parking. So I volunteered at this event last year, and I was honestly blown away by how many bikes we were able to fit in those racks. It was a very popular event. So they are offering this again for free this year. On Saturday, May 4th, SNHPC will be partnering with a few different organizations in New Boston to host a bike rodeo for children. This actually came out of our Pathways to Play effort. We just did our pilot project and we wrapped that up in December. So this was one of the activities that they wanted to move forward with to help with education and awareness of some of the recreational activities that exist in New Boston. The Tour de New Hampshire will be taking place all throughout the state. This is a partnership between the New Hampshire Rail Trail Coalition, the Bike Walk Alliance of New Hampshire, the Granite State Wheelers, and the Planning Commission is also helping out with promotion. So the deal is every weekend in May, there will be a different guided tour of the different rail trails that exist in the state. You'll learn all about the history of not only the rails, but the trails that exist, as well as the future trails that will be developed in the coming years. As you can see, this annoying little circle here points to May 11th. That will be our turn. So at 10 a.m., we'll be doing a tour of Manchester's many rail trails. There's been a lot of excitement lately around the new trails that are going to be developed. So all of these rides are free, but registration is required, and I'll have a link at the end so you can go to the website and sign up for as many rides as you would like. On Thursday, May 16th, the Hooksett Riverwalk will be hosting their grand opening. So they have 1.5 new miles that will be connecting Hooksett to Allenstown. I believe there's also a once in a lifetime opportunity to take a golf cart if anybody needs transport from the end of the trail and back. So this is a nice opportunity for that. On Friday, May 17th, that is Bike to Work Day. So we've partnered with Manchester Parks and Rec Department to host a Bike to Work Day breakfast. Assuming our permit is accepted, it'll be at Manchester City Hall Plaza from 7 to 9 a.m. On Saturday, May 18th is Hooksett's annual Children's Safety Day, including a bike rodeo. So that will include bicycle registration with the police, bicycle safety inspections, a challenge and safety obstacle course, and they will also be giving away free helmets. And also on May 18th is the Tour de Francistown. They do this event every year. I've heard it's a lot of fun. I'm hoping to participate for the first time this year. They offer 25 and 50-mile gravel rides, and all of the benefits go towards preserving the Francistown Old Meeting Hall. So it's for a good cause as well. If you have any events that I might have missed that you would like added to the calendar, you can email the details to info@bikewalkalliancenewhampshire.org, BWANH. And if you have any questions or you'd like to visit the calendar, you can scan that QR code. And there's my information.
Any questions for Tammy? That's an amazing amount of different programs. And I'm wondering, Tammy, do you have any cycling organizations that have, aside from Bike Walk Alliance, that have partnered with you guys?
We are working with the New Hampshire Rail Trail Coalition and the Granite State Wheelers on the Tour to New Hampshire as well.
Cool. I love the Tour to New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's something new that we're trying out this year.
That is amazing. Yeah. All right. Any questions from our home audience? It's all quiet on this front. We all need to dust off our bikes. All right, wonderful. Well, thanks, Tammy, for that update. Stay tuned for more excitement. All right, Ben, you're up. So we have our regional mobility manager, Ben Herbert, who will share all the excitement about our Weare transportation survey. It's not right on top.
Oh, yeah. All right, can everybody see this full screen online?
Yes.
Sweet. So since the end of February, we have been running this transportation needs survey for the town of Weare. The survey is going until the beginning of May, but I figured with beginning of May actually approaching soon, I know, right? I figured it would just be a good time to show off what the results of the survey are looking like. So just to start off with a bit of background information. As mobility manager, it's my job to work with individuals one-on-one and help them get connected to transportation services that can get them to medical appointments, grocery stores, and any other essential trip purpose.
And Weare is one of the towns within the region that I serve. And working with residents of Weare has been particularly challenging. They've been voicing their grievances and challenges, not just to me, but also to the local senior center, that being the Hand in Hand Senior Center. And rightfully so, because this is what transportation kind of looks like in the surrounding Weare area. All of the towns on the border have at least one or two regional services, whereas Weare doesn't have any sort of regional service that serves the residents there.
What a graphic. Wow.
Thank you. Who needs GIS when you just have PowerPoint and a shape building tool? So this partnership was built between myself, Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission staff, aka Sylvia, as well as the Hand in Hand Senior Center and the town administrator for the town of Weare, to develop this transportation needs survey as being the sort of first step towards addressing this unmet need for residents of Weare. The survey has been promoted through various outreach events, such as tabling at the middle school during the election day, hosting a in-person walkthrough event at the senior center, getting the link reposted on Facebook through the local town Facebook page, the police department. Actually, the police department is who created this awesome logo, so you can thank them for that. Yeah.
And also Weare in the World.
Yep. And we've also had articles run in Weare in the World as well, which is the local town run what's the newsletter. And then as I said, this is running from the end of February to the beginning of May. And as of April 15th, we've had 304 responses that have been like logged into the digital system. So there's other physical responses that's going to be picked up and logged into that. So now I'm just gonna quickly go over what the results are looking like. So the first few questions we just kind of ask about basic demographic questions, such as what the respondent's age is. The overwhelming majority of respondents ranged between the ages of 40 and 74, with an occasional being 75 to 84, over 85, 18 to 29, and it says 0%, but it was actually one respondent who was under 18 responded to the survey. And then asking what section of Weare they lived in, North and South Weare being the overwhelming place where people live in Weare, as well as the village center, the Lake Horse area, which is also the Weare Reservoir to the west of the town. A few weren't residents of Weare, then we had a couple people who indicated other. And then when I go into the back end of the survey and looked at what they meant when they said other, they were talking about like East Weare. They gave like what specific road they lived on, what pond they lived near. So I took all of that and kind of put together like another map that shows just where the respondents are. So of course, still North and South Weare are where the majority of respondents reside in, but then you also have 10 and 11% living in Lake Horace area and the village center, and then about 3% reside in the East Weare area. So then we asked if they're able to drive themselves. The majority of respondents, overwhelming majority, are able to drive themselves. 9 indicated that they can't drive themselves, and 1 said that they don't necessarily need to drive themselves. We asked if they drive, do they anticipate not being able to drive in the future? 6 said that within the next year, they anticipate this. 13 said within the next few years. 23 said within the next 5 to 10 years. And then 61 weren't sure. 64 said at some point after a decade or so. And then 125 said it's not something that they think about, which rightfully so. Who wants to think about not being able to drive themselves to wherever they need to go? And then we asked if they struggle to get into where they need to go. 23 said that they do struggle getting to where they need to go, whereas 277 said they don't. Breaking it down though, that's 8% of respondents struggle to get into the places they need to go. And then we asked if they know someone who struggles to get where they need to go. And now you have 19% of respondents saying that they do know somebody who struggles to get around and get to the places they need to go. So then we asked, how often do you or someone you know having issues getting to your essential destinations? 12 indicated for both once a month and once a week or more often. 14 said more than once a month. 28 said several times a year. 84 said rarely or infrequently, and then 151 said that they don't struggle with getting to places they need to go. Looking at this more though, the bottom three, so more than once a month, once a week or more often, about once a month, that's 38. Yeah, 38 people. At most 38 people struggle with getting to where they need to go at least once a month in the town of Weare, based on this survey. And then we asked if they struggle getting to like these following places, that being medical or dental appointments, which was the overwhelming destination that people struggle to get rides to, being at 61 responses, followed by grocery stores and shopping trips and other essential errands being 55. 38 said social outings, 18 said religious services, 11 said work, and 3 said school, and 15 gave other reasons. And just some examples of those includes if they can't drive or take their car, there is no alternative. People don't like driving after dark, and this is much more challenging in the winter season. When it's in someone's car, it needs to be serviced. They can't really get around in their cars in the shops. They just have to sit there and wait. And then one person said that their disabled son relies on their parents for all sorts of transportation. So then we asked if you or someone you know had difficulty finding a ride, give us all the reasons why. The most common reason being that there's no transportation options, which we just saw in one of the earlier slides, as well as not knowing who to call or request for a ride, or friends and family not being available to provide rides. And then also not driving at night, had 49 responses, not having enough money for a fare being 26, and then a wheelchair accessible vehicles needed being 13 responses. And this question had the most skips out of all the questions on the survey, most likely because anyone who saw this who doesn't have issues getting around just didn't see a reason to respond to this, most likely. Looking at the 37 other responses, some of the examples of that was just the weather conditions, difficulty obtaining a driver's license due to being on the autism spectrum, as well as an individual who is deaf and blind and needs a tactile, I've never seen that word before, tactile interpreter and a guide. And then we start to dive into what a potential solution to these unmet needs would be. We gave 3 examples, being a volunteer driver program, a Weare van service utilizing a town-owned vehicle being supported by local tax dollars, and a taxi or private service voucher program also funded by town tax dollars. And the most supported solution to this would be a volunteer driver program, being at 241 responses. And then both the tax funded services had about the same number of responses, ranging between 105 and 122. So as we dive into these services, we focus on volunteer driver programs first. We ask if they would see themselves utilizing a volunteer driver program to get them to where they need to go. 16% or 47 respondents said that they would see themselves using it. 33% said that they weren't sure, and then 153 said that they do not see themselves utilizing such a service. Then we also asked if respondents would see themselves volunteering to provide rides for residents of Weare. And we see that 29% of respondents said that they would see themselves becoming a volunteer driver for Weare residents. And then 38% said that they weren't sure, and then 30% said no. So it's pretty much almost like equal thirds in terms of how people view themselves volunteering to provide rides in the town of Weare. And then we talk about rideshare programs, whether if it's the paid services like Uber and Lyft, or free service like Commute Smart New Hampshire. We asked if they've ever used such a service. The majority said that they haven't used that at 261. 35 said that they have used a private service like Uber and Lyft, and then only 3 respondents said that they had ever used Commute Smart New Hampshire. Following up on this, we asked if they would be interested in using a rideshare program to help get them to their destinations. 140 said that they don't need to, and 63 said no. And then for those who said yes, we broke it down between low cost, no concern about costs, and then they only want it to be free. So 56 said that they would prefer it to be low cost, 28 said that they're not concerned about whatever the fee would be, and then 11 said that they would only want it to be free. Then we asked for those who are able to drive, would they see themselves participating in a rideshare program to help drive people to their destinations? 176 said no, whereas 62 said that they would, and they aren't concerned about any sort of compensation. And 43 said that they would also see themselves, but they would prefer some sort of compensation. And then, of course, 6 said that they just don't drive. And then we asked if such a service was available, if any transportation service was available, how often would they see themselves utilizing such a service? So 56% said that they would never use such a service, whereas 27% said that they would use it rarely or infrequently. 5% said about once a month, 10% said more than once a month, and 2% said once a week or more. So when you break that down, that's 16 plus 28, that's 44, plus 6, that's 50. So that's like 50 people saying that they would use a service at most once a month. Feel free to chime in if my math was wrong there. And then we ask about a transportation service that picks up people from a central location that takes them to like any sort of like shopping trip or recreational event. So like instead of picking up people from their home, let's say it was a van that picked up people from the local senior center. Would people see themselves using that service, or actually would they see themselves being able to get to that pickup location, or they have to get picked up from their home? 26 said that they would need to be picked up from their home, whereas 107 said that they can get to the pickup location. 77 said unsure. And then when we look at the 33 people who said other, oh, I didn't put a slide into that. Okay, next slide. So should a transportation program be established and where? How much can you afford to pay for each trip you take? So people could select as many as that apply to them. And 54 said that they could only pay at most $0 for it. 52 said that they could pay less than $5. 124 said that they could pay between $5 to $10. 62 said 10 to 20, and 23 said 20 to 30. And then when we look at the 39 other responses, people said that it depends on how far they're going. So they could do like $5 to $10 for Manchester or Concord, which is actually the most common trip destination based off people I've worked with, being Manchester and Concord. 10 to 20 for Laconia, and 20 to 30 for up in the White Mountains area. This one actually had the most opinions and I guess perspectives voiced out of all the questions. So one person talked about depends on how things go financially, but they were very supportive of developing such a survey and caring about the disabled, needing help and caring and deserving some feeling of independence. And then other people use this to kind of air their grievances or their opposition to any sort of transportation service being in Weare, with the majority reason just being the use of tax dollars, such as one individual said, I don't support tax dollars being used for this, which was the common reason behind most opposition. I think there's only like 1 or 2 that were like hostile, one telling me to buzz off and another one telling me to take my ideas to a South American country. But for the most part, it was just lack of support for tax paid tax funded dollars being used for this. But so the main key takeaways based off of these early results is that 8% struggled to get to where they need to go, and 19% know someone in the town of Weare who struggles getting to where they need to go. Lack of transportation, of course, being the most common reason for people not being able to find a ride. And then the volunteer driver program was the most supported transportation service at 79% of respondents. And then 29% of respondents expressed an interest in becoming a volunteer driver for Weare residents. So looking at the next steps, of course, once the survey is wrapped up and finalized at the beginning of May, we can do a much more in-depth analysis of the results. And then we could present these results to Weare town officials and other key stakeholders, and then engage with community stakeholders and we would support transportation solutions that both meet the needs based off of the survey results and also align with the interests of stakeholders and local residents based off of these survey results. And that's the wrap up on that. Any questions, comments, requests to go to South America?
Have you thought about which country you're gonna go?
They gave a country.
Oh, okay, okay.
Do you provide any, like incentives for people to complete this survey or?
Nope,
No.
there wasn't any sort of like gift card drawing or anything like that. We just went to a bunch of events, got promoted through various outreach channels. We had like physical drop boxes at the library, the senior center, the town office, and I think a local hairdresser too. So no incentive, just pushing it in everybody's faces in that town.
That's great that you were able to get like that amount of responses already, so.
Well, we wanted to get more, but
Yeah.
I think people saw it if they didn't have trouble driving, that they didn't see the need to take the survey.
Right.
So I think they felt this was more for older people, but clearly, it's interesting where you see about, what was it, 8% couldn't or had struggled getting themselves. But in the end, the one, if there was a drop-off location and we would pick you up for an event, 26 people said, oh, well, now I have to get picked up right at my home.
Yeah.
It's really interesting when you compare some of their answers, but certainly you can see that there are plenty of people who struggle in getting everything together, or they're anticipating. And we were not surprised to hear the volunteer driver program was the most, acceptable. Anyway, thanks, Ben.
Open-ended questions on surveys are always fun. Done a lot of local master plan surveys where the open-ended question responses were mostly, asking for their neighbors to be investigated for something. Lots of fun stuff.
Thanks.
The one who wrote buzz off on every single question that had an other option too. But,
Wow.
which he actually did say, or they actually did say buzz off. So I was surprised that they kept it PG.
Argentina, apparently not too terrible.
I wouldn't go.
Chile.
I'd go to someplace without, 100% inflation.
Well, I mean,
All right, next on our list is Anthony for traffic calendar season.
Just realized I didn't set this up. I've got a link that I sent to myself. So.
Probably the quickest ways to do the Canva.
Just right into Canva. I shot a link to myself that I could pull up.
Well, I don't know, you can't really pull your email up here unless you send your email.
It's right here.
Okay.
That's to take me right to it. Let's do that. Okay. And let's see, so I'll go up into the present.
You get to share it, please.
Oh, thanks, Zach. Go on here. Apologies, I'm not well versed
Go
at
back
this.
to Zoom,
Yeah,
to the right side.
right here.
And
Okay,
then
there we go.
share.
All right, awesome. And
Right up front.
right.
Makes complete
Chile would be, go about pretty,
Yeah.
Mediterranean
All
climate.
right, now
All
let's
right.
find out from home viewers.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're up and running now. Can everyone at home or in your office see the
Yes.
season preview here? I'm trying to get rid of this bar. Yes, we can. Awesome. Great. Thank you. All right. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to provide everyone with a preview of our counting program for 2024 counting season. And so we'll start out with our field team. We've got Dave and Adam, our transportation planners here at the commission. myself, field technician. We also have Andrew, who's our intern last year, returning in May. So be the four of us on this. Predominantly, it'll be Andrew and myself out in the field for most of the season. All right, so types of counts. We do volume and class counts. Volume counts, we're just collecting volume data, how many vehicles are driving over the area that we're counting for a certain period of time. And we have class counts, which collects data about what kinds of vehicles are traveling over our area that we're collecting data at. And then over here we have these are the 13 classes that we collect. Cars and class 3.
Can you admit?
Yeah, I'm gonna admit. There we go. So yeah, rather class 2 and class 3 cars and trucks are sort of our most predominant classes. You probably notice when you're out driving around, you see more cars and trucks than you do tractor trailers and other vehicles. So we when we're collecting data, most of the data that we collect, we use tubes and tube counters for collecting that data. But we do have a newer device here. This is our Litron. This is a computer and a camera that collects class and volume data for us that utilizes AI software to do so. And what we like about this, about the Litron, is that it increases safety. So we're out of the street, we're not putting tubes down, so we're off to the side. Typically utilizing infrastructure like the pole in the photo over here to attach our camera pole to, and then attaching the rest of the device as well. This is the computer, the housing for the computer, the Litron traffic counter. And then this is an external battery that we attach to the Litron traffic counter that allows us to collect for multiple days, 4 or 5 days or so. And then down here, we actually have, this is footage that the Litron collects. And so when you pull up a video file, what you see are the frames, each vehicle classed by the Litron. And it looks like we have all 2s right here. And the data processing from the Litron is very efficient. It provides us exactly what we need to submit to NHDOT. So we have 399 locations in all 14 communities. Typically, we're collecting from April and November, so about 31 weeks. Each week we set out to do anywhere from 15 to 20 counts. Typically that's 18 or so volume counts and then 2 class counts. We did our dry run the other week. So we did about 13 counts that week. And then this week is our first full week. We accomplished 20 placements this week. And have all of those placements right now in Manchester. We also have 2 requests from towns, totaling 4 counts, 3 requests, 3 count requests from Manchester and 1 count request from Francistown. And here we go with a breakdown by town. Over here, we've got our map, which is a geographic representation of how our counts are spread out over the region. You'll see we have different colored pins. The blue pins are SNHPC counts. And the green pins are NHDOT counts. The purple and black pins are also NHDOT counts, but those are class counts. The purple pins are for our lower volume class counts, which require us to place 2 tubes and 1 counter. And then the black pins are the higher volume class counts, which require we put out 2 tubes, being knotted tubes, and 2 counters. And so, again, we have, 399 total, 214 of those being SNHPC counts, 185 of those being NHDOT counts. Have the majority of our counts taking place in Manchester, then we have Londonderry and Bedford as runners up, and so on down our list here. It's a little peek into our workflow, weekly set lists. This is a spreadsheet that we take out into the field with us, provides us with all of the necessary information we need out there for placing and collecting. And then we have our map over here. We do a few different kinds of mapping, but basically we're mapping so that we can route ourselves in advance, and then we're also using a map in the field for navigating purposes. So we have an iPad with a map with us when we're in the field. This is the NH.interactive map. So this map, this includes data that's not only submitted by SNHPC, but also all RPCs in the state. So this is a good, it's a good resource for if you're ever interested in looking into the kind of data we collect and what that data looks like, for each cycle, every 3 years that it's collected or so. So this is a good resource to go to. You can zoom right into a location, click on it, and then you've got all of your data popping up over here. And then towns can request counts. We can provide volume data, class data, and speed data. And then on the SNHPC website, we've got a web page that you can go to and fill out a form if your town is interested in applying or requesting a count. The third bullet down right here, request a traffic count. That's where you would want to go on this particular page and click on that, and you'll get the form I just mentioned. And that concludes. Does anyone have any questions?
Maybe stop sharing.
All right, here we go.
So our home viewers.
Anthony,
Yes.
how would a class one of those K trucks?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
It'd probably be a motorcycle.
Really?
I would guess, because a lot of ways they classify are based on axle length and the distance between axle strikes. So short axle length probably puts it in like a motorcycle type category. That would be my guess.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not, it hasn't been an issue, but now that it's 25 years, whatever, they start seeing still small numbers, obviously.
I think if I see one of those around, actually, I'll put my card under the windshield wiper and see if we could maybe connect with the driver on a class count.
Yeah.
See how that turns out.
And yeah, has one.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. All right, let's see if we can make it happen. Follow up.
Thing would be with the Leitron, where it doesn't use
Oh.
the axle distance, where it uses machine learning. I assume the Leitron would probably put that into an unclassified because it just hasn't seen enough pictures to recognize that, or it could look at the body shape and put it as a pickup truck, but that would be an interesting way to see how it would be picked up.
For those of you who not sure what we're talking about those tiny trucks that you might have seen around every now and then. I see one in the New Market where I live, or actually on 101, and it's very funny. It's smaller than a smart car, I swear to God. It looks like you could put it in your pocket. It's really, really small. Oh, they're tiny.
They're imports from Japan.
They're not.
The steering wheel is on the other side, obviously, so it's,
You have to wait 25, there's a 25 years. You have to wait to import them, so they're all 25 years old.
yeah, they don't meet American vehicle standards, so you can only import them after they're 25.
They're really cute.
Depends on the state. I don't think they're technically allowed on highways in New Hampshire.
I swear I've seen one.
That doesn't mean they.
On occasion, on 101, I'll see one.
I wouldn't do that if I was.
Anyway, any questions from our home viewers? All right, I think That's it for this go round. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a month and hope you have a good spring and tune into all those great bike events. Was there anything else I missed? Anything I'm supposed to promote? Oh, someone's promoting something. Someone? Looking at Dave. No. Oh, no, that was.
SNPO.
That was last night. Sorry, mixing up so many meetings, so little time. A brownfields thing. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Right.